We've asked for general fund dollars to support the Business Impact Opportunity Fund, which is a grant program we started back in 2019 for the Central 70 project to give grants to businesses impacted by construction. But we are prioritizing the East Colfax corridor. So there will be funding for the East Colfax corridor. And as I mentioned, we'll open it in early 2025 because by the end of December 2024, you're going to have about, for the folks that are on the far west end of the corridor, we're talking like Broadway to York, I think it is the first phase. That's where they'll probably see that 90-day impact. What we need when you complete an application is evidence of your annual gross revenue from 2023. Because eligible businesses must be earning between $30,000 and $5 million in the previous tax year. This is a small business support program. And businesses typically that are earning more than $5 million, they've got enough cash reserves they can weather this kind of impact, or they're corporate related. So a business must be between $30K and $5 million, and we'll want you to evidence that with your annual gross revenue from 2023. Be registered with the Secretary of State. You're going to want to compare 90 days of pre-construction revenue. So let's say, for example, you'll want to compare the summer of 2024 before construction started, maybe Q3 of 2024, and you'll want to compare that with Q3 of 2025. That's just one way to do that. But you want to compare pre-construction with during construction. You have to have a 90-day window. So it could be a quarter, it could be, you can compare annually. Maybe you want to, if you apply, you could compare your 2024 revenue with your 2025. You could do a 6-month window. You could just do 90 consecutive days. If you are awarded a grant, and we may even do this ahead of time, evidence of current operations. Sadly, we have had businesses go out of business, close their doors, and if you're operating at the time you apply for that grant, we're not going to claw back your grant, but we do want to see evidence of current operations. And of course, a W-9, if you are awarded the grant, there'll be those kinds of things to complete. We have relied on sales reports. We've relied on Square reports. A lot of restaurants and cafes use Toast. So you don't have to go to your accountant and ask them to prepare a P&L, profit and loss, or an income statement. We can just use a sales report that a lot of businesses have these on their devices, a tablet or a phone. There are specific, because these are ARPA funds, no cannabis, no wholesale or retail cannabis. That is not because we think it's an unsavory business or anything like that. We have given grants to tattoo shops. We've given grants to adult novelty shops. We've given grants to all kinds of businesses. Where we are constrained is with our ARPA dollars, these federal dollars, no retail, wholesale cannabis. And we do have these, what we call these recovery index scores. So if you're out in Cherry Creek and you're a chiropractor, the recovery index score out in Cherry Creek is going to be 0.9 and higher. And that chiropractor is not going to be in an eligible NAICS code. They'll probably be a 62. So there's a good bunch of NAICS codes that do fall into eligibility. A lot of the stretches of East Colfax are within a 0.89 or less recovery index score. So it's an either or. You either meet the NAICS or you meet the recovery index score. They are very compassionate people too, as well. And we have worked hard to make sure that even our smallest, most vulnerable businesses that may not be particularly savvy with their financial statements, we've been able to qualify them under this program. And we've always even had an alternative means if there was some other way that we had to qualify the business as long as they met all the other eligibility.